What's up, everybody? So back in the JT again, and I'm back at the Stinger. Now I gotta take the Stinger back out of the dash, not because there's anything wrong with it, because I need to make a change. Now, if anybody out there, if any of y'all ever install one of these things in a JL or a JT, you know it is a pain. Not because of the unit itself, but because in the JLs and the JTs, you only got limited space behind the dash. In the JK, wasn't that complicated. You got all the room in the world back there to put all your wires and everything back up in there, no problem. But in these JLs and JTs, boy, Jeep really did give us limited space back there, so it made it a little bit complicated, but I got it to fit. So I really don't want to take it back out to have to go through all that again, but there's a good reason. Now the good thing is that Stinger has good directions and they have videos that you can wire this thing up with. Nevertheless, it's still a pain. So the reason I'm taking this thing back out and having to get to the wires in the back is because somebody wants me to show them something, but that's not the main reason. The main reason is because a while ago, before I got this thing and I had the stock 8.4 in here, I had a 4-way camera set up on this thing for when I'm off-roading, I'm hitting the trails, but more so when I'm rock crawling and I can see down there where the wheels are and not have to get out. But when I got this, I put it in and I noticed this Heigh10 has an option where you can hook up side cameras to it. I was like, oh, that's awesome. But that's also because Stinger also sells side cameras that you could put on your vehicle that clips on each side of the vehicle. I was like, all right, that's cool. But I already got my own. They're installed where I want to install them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull this out, hook up the extensions, run them out to where I got to run them, and then hook up my cameras back to this where I can access each side and use it through the Stinger. And it's pretty cool that the Stinger gives you that option. So that's what we're doing today. But before I get started doing all that, I'm gonna show you where my cameras are on my Jeep real quick. Hold on. So let me show you. Here's my fender well right here. And you can see where the stock mount, where the fenders are. But right there, if you can see it, there's a camera right there. I installed it in one of the other spots where the stock fender went. You see I done chipped up all the paint off of that thing where the tire's hitting it, but nevertheless, there's a camera right up under there. So that's what I got going on, and that's what I'm gonna take care of. Like I said, I'm not really looking forward to pulling this thing back out of this dash because it's a pain to get those wires back in there. If I'd have been working on the JK behind me, not a problem. But this thing, but it's gotta be done, so no point in holding it off. Let's get to it. Here's the two main wires that go to the unit. That's not the pain I was talking about. Pretty cool thing about these Stingers is that the Heigh10 is the same no matter what vehicle you got it in. So if you want to switch vehicles, you can pretty much just buy the mounting kit for the other vehicle and mount it right in there. So with the JK over there, if one day we decide to get another JT or JL, we can just buy the mounting kit and mount that same Stinger radio in the other vehicle. So that's pretty cool. Back behind all of that, that's where the pain is. You can see how that pretty much is stuffed in there, but back behind there, it's pretty tight. I got those screws in pretty tight, but I got to get back there. So see all of that? We got a little bit of room to work with back there, so it's tight. So this is what I was looking for. On here it tells you which one is right, which one is left. Cam 2 is left, cam 3 is right, and cam 4 is front. So if you want to hook up the front one, so too easy. That's what I needed because they're numbered and not lettered. So right, left, or whatever. So that's what I needed. So now I got the 3 RCAs, the video input and output connected to all 3, camera 2, 3, and 4, which are the front, the left, and the right. And I've got all 3 of the hot wires to the trigger, so that when you push that particular camera, it will trigger the power to that camera, bring it on, and you can see it on the screen. So now I've gotten all 3 of the RCAs wired to all 3 of the cameras, 2, 3, and 4, and I got all the trigger wires wired up to 2, 3, and 4 as well, which are cameras front, left, and right. Now the reason this trigger wire is here is because when you push that particular camera on the screen, it will trigger power to that camera and bring that camera on so you can see it. Now the only thing left now is to get this all put back in like it was before, which is going to take a minute, and I can wire up the cameras and hook up to the connections at the cameras in a minute. But we got to get this stuff back in. Now there's one more thing I got to show you, only because someone asked me in a previous video, because I have a Roku connected to this. Well, what they wanted to know was, how do you set this thing to make it play while in motion? Now let me put this out up front. I don't condone playing videos while you're driving. I don't condone it because it's dangerous as hell, but here's how you do it. You take that light green wire right there, which is the parking switch, and you connect it to a ground. That's all you got to do, is ground it somewhere. Real simple. Now there's also a reverse wire on here, which is a purple and white wire, but I really wouldn't ground that one because you kind of sort of need the rear camera. But that's it, light green wire, just ground it. Too easy, and it'll play while it's in motion. Now let's put this thing back in. All right, y'all, what's up? So I got everything hooked up, wired up, and I only got 1 camera installed because I really just want to show y'all how all of this stuff works. At a later date, I have all 4 of the cameras hooked up in the right location, everything ready to go, and I can show y'all how all 4 of the cameras look in a later video. But for right now, just to show y'all the options on this thing about the cameras and how it all looks, I only got 1 camera hooked up, which is just hanging out there in the hood. So check it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in, I'm on the menu screen, I push cameras, and there's the actual video of the camera that's up front. And like I said, I only got the 1 hooked up, and I have it hooked up into the right, which is, I think it's the Cam 3, just to show you all what it looks like. And the cool thing is, if you notice, it shows all of your stuff still on the screen. Like if you turn your steering wheel, all of the stock gauges, you'll see it move. It shows your pitch, your roll, all of your, like your transfer case selection, latitude, longitude, all of that stuff is still on the screen while you're watching it. I can do this, hit the rear, it pops up the rear, which is the stock. And then once you add the other cameras on here, it'll actually show rear, right, left, and front on the screen. So that's pretty cool, especially since the stuff still shows up. So like if you are rock crawling or doing something, you can see underneath and still be able to see all of these gauges and everything. That's if you still use them. So that's pretty awesome. Now I'm going to show you some of the other things that this thing does, which gives you a lot more options. So we're just going to back out of this. On the system settings, we're going to go into the installer settings. Once you get in here, advanced vehicle settings, camera settings. Now check it out. If you got all your other cameras hooked up, here's the options you can have. Right here, it'll show you what they're selected, like the factory cameras on rear, the camera 3, which is the front one, I have it set to right. But say for example, I got a camera set up like number 4 is showing none right now. There's all the options you got: front, rear, left, right, trailer if you got one, because you got some that you can have where they're like Bluetooth, where you can put on the back of your camper or your trailer, whatever. So you got that. You got inside, like if you want to put one on the inside of your cab. You got outside, you got an auxiliary, you got one that you can watch over your bed, and you can even put one in your back seat to watch a baby if you had a baby in the back seat. So that's pretty awesome. They give you all of these selections that you can do. Now when you do that, say for example, we're going to put this one over left. And then they got low speed override. Of course, if you want the camera to trigger on when you're going low speed or not. But if I click on front, they have other options because you have it on the front. So you have options like camera, or not camera preset, but max duration, that how long you want it to stay on, what mile per hour, your threshold, your parking steering angle. You have other different settings you can do with that depending on which camera you pick. Rear, nothing. Let's see what it got for baby. Let's see. Well, nothing. So I guess the seems like, well, okay. For the bed, you have turn signal trigger, I guess, to turn it on and off when you are making a turn while your turn signal's on or whatever. Let's see. Trailer, that ought to have some different. Well, same thing as the bed. So that's pretty much it. You can set this thing. You got plenty of different options you can do with this thing. That's another cool feature of this Stinger Heigh10 unit, is that when you have all these cameras hooked up, you got different options. You can do different things. It's pretty awesome. I just wanted to run that down with y'all, show y'all some of the controls, what this thing can do, what the camera actually looks like when it's hooked up to the unit. Like I said, you know, that's pretty cool. I like it, which makes me feel even better that I went with this unit in the JT and in the JK, because I also have those options in the JK as well. So that's pretty cool. So that's it for now. I gotta get out of here. I got stuff to do. Peace out, y'all. Y'all stay safe, go have fun. Don't forget to change your life. Don't forget to change somebody else's life too. Peace out, y'all.